Hey, we're live and I have a microphone now. Oh goodness. Yeah, it's hard to feel seen and heard if your microphone isn't on. So I was in Nixa, Missouri, near Springfield this past weekend for the 25th Metaphysical Show. And there were some things that just kept the theme that kept rising to the top as I met so many new and amazing people, got to visit with some past clients and get together with the whole healing community. Um, that's important. That connection. Um, just the theme that we all need to be seen and we need to be heard. People are just really feeling stuck and they're not looking for someone to tell them their whole future. What I found the folks coming to me is they're looking for what is the next step that fits with their soul and their path. They're feeling so overwhelmed. There's so many choices. A lot of people at some changes in careers, the life path that the career has for us, and where that moves. And as I look at these readings and the things that I was seeing for people, there were a lot of things that came clear. Um, and I think it's reflective of my own life to an extent as well. That's why I come in and talk every Tuesday about what's going on in the collective, the energies. We're all here sharing this experience, and what are the parts of the experience that are needing the attention right now? And what I was seeing this weekend is people who are carrying plates that are full. In the Midwest, we talk about putting sideboards on our plates to hold everything that's there. Oftentimes, what we feel like we're holding and what we hold is the overwhelm. The idea that we're overwhelmed, the idea of the struggle, and we know what that feels like. It's common, it's clear, it's ingrained in our DNA to be able to hold that. And that's where that overwhelm comes from so much. I feel that is just so clear to me that this is what people are, they're carrying these plates full of everything. The good stuff, the overwhelm, the grief, the betrayal, things that are going on in their life, big decisions, and then old patterns. And some of those big decisions, I think, are so important to look at in the light of, is this an opportunity? Is this a challenge? Or am I repeating things? I know that's one of those things that I go back and forth on, and you talk to my friends are going to go, yeah, 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 yeah. But identifying, being able to step back and look at it. Is this an opportunity? Or am I hanging on to that sense of overwhelm because although I hate it, it feels comfortable? I know what to do with overwhelm. I know how to, ride shotgun with that. And then if you let go of the overwhelm, that sense of so much comfort, and I know how to handle this, I know what to do with overwhelm. I know how to feel tired and exhausted and frustrated, and I know how to lash out at people and all of those things that we do when we're overwhelmed. Or are you ready to dig in? Are you ready to take that leap into something that is going to be so amazing? And oftentimes it is something we've already lived, we just forgot about it. It's that soul remembering what it is we're here to do and to be a part of that. So, today I want to talk about how we do that, what it means to find the next right step, how it feels when we feel we're going from this overwhelm and absolutely stuck place to stepping out of that comfort, stepping into what is uncomfortable, what is unknown. And how do we know if that is the right step? And how do we do this not from a place of panic or pressure that we have to make decisions, but from that step of clarity? How can we really get kind of an overhaul in our life without knowing the next step? And I think that, in my own path, I have not always known what my next step is going to be. I just know there needs to be a next step. So sometimes it's not about knowing what you want. Oftentimes it's clearly identifying what you don't want, what you are done with, what there is no more room for in your life, and how you can identify that. And making it an honest choice that is your choice. It's not what everybody else is around you doing. It's not, oh, if your friend jumped off a bridge. That's not the type of stuff we're talking about here. We're talking about that inner soul searching, listening to your heart, listening to those authentic parts of you, listening to the parts that are tired, that are worn out, that are ready to make a shift. So again, sometimes it's not knowing what the next step is, but it's knowing what we're not doing anymore of, what we're going to stop, so that we can start to take that aligned action, so that we know what is in alignment with us. We know these things are no longer working. This is where we're leaking our energy. This is where we're spending too much time and too much concentration, because we know law of attraction, whatever you focus on grows. And if you focus on the overwhelm and the feeling of being so overwhelmed, overworked, underpaid, frustrated, sad, all of those things, you're going to stay right there. That's where the stuck is. So being able to identify that we're done with the stuck, that we're ready for a change, we're ready for whatever the universe holds for us. Not a complete blind leap of faith, although they've been very successful for me on many occasions. But knowing where you can place the trust in yourself to know what you're going to do next. And this whole sense of clarity and moving forward in your life. You don't get to see the whole staircase. You don't get to see necessarily the end of the rainbow, but you know the first steps in that staircase. You know the first steps in that bridge. You know the beginning of the rainbow. And as you continue on this path, that's when things become clearer. When you can leave this old heavy stuff behind you and really move into what motivates you, what lights you up. I know I talk about that a lot. What lights you up? What are the things that bring you joy and pleasure in life? We all need to be putting ourselves back at the top of the list. We've been busy caretaking for everyone else's needs, and oftentimes, and I see this so often, that we don't take care of our own needs. I am not saying shut everybody off, be cold-hearted. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying put some priority back into yourself. Okay? And you've heard me say it a million times, don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others well. So finding out, how do you balance these opportunities, these things that are coming to you, these really hard choices. So many people are balancing so many beautiful opportunities. That's what I saw this weekend. It wasn't that they just had to choose between A and B. There were a lot of little strings attached to each and every one of those, as there always is. But I encourage everyone to really sit with as much information as you have, and don't go down rabbit holes, because then you blur it. Then you have too many choices. going in for 3 flavors of ice cream or going in for 30 flavors of ice cream. Although the 30 flavors of ice cream sounds like a good idea, when you stand there and you just can't choose. On our way back, we stopped at the candy store. There was an entire, like, 50-foot row with 2 tiers of saltwater taffy on both sides of this row. Flavors of saltwater taffy I would never have dreamed of. And it was like vacation for me. So I wanted some saltwater taffy. The banana, peppermint, those were, I just wanted a couple pieces. And I got a couple pieces and I'm satisfied. That's where we're at. But so being able to step back and look at, okay, these are the things that I want. These are the things that I don't want. These are the benefits of this one. These are the drawbacks of that one. And then putting that magical spin on everything and asking, how good is it going to be when this pans out? And envision, what is the best outcome? What's the best thing that can come from option A? What's the best thing that can come from option B? What's the best thing that comes from option C? A lot of times we say, if not A or B, neither one looks good. If we give the opportunity, option C comes along, and oftentimes it's way better than A or B could have been. And sometimes I think that's where we get stuck. It's because we think that we have to know every step of everything. And sometimes that's not how intuition comes through. That's not how the best opportunities in life come to you. They come from sitting back and being able to weigh that on an intuitive level inside your being. What does it feel like? If you have a choice between, say, a job that you get to dress up and wear fancy clothes and go to work and you work in an office situation, how does that feel? Envision yourself there. Or maybe pretend is a better word. Pretend you're sitting in your office with all of the newest and shiniest of everything. How does that feel? What is your other option? What's another job you're looking at? Are you looking at a job where you do a lot of driving? You see a lot of people. Maybe you're outside. Maybe you're walking in the woods. Maybe you get to wear blue jeans every day. Envision, pretend, feel. What does this job feel like to you? What feels better? Then start following that. Start to follow that to see where it comes out. Leave the stresses, leave the pushes, leave the things that you no longer want. We wrote a list, we're done with them. We wrote a list of things we're not doing anymore, things that are not what light us up. And we wrote them. We're done with that list. So we're going to move forward. We're going to move forward into the things that do light us up. And we're going to move toward those. And as we give less attention to these stuck things, they're going to dissolve. They move away from us. We're not focusing on them. They're not bringing it up. It is the energy in your heart and mind that get to explore the possibilities and sit with each of those possibilities and feel it. How does it feel? Which one do you want to pursue? There's some good things with the 9 to 5. There's some good things with, being outside. I need to sit and feel with those. It's not a big all at once type thing. A lot of people are standing there and enters into your fears. Maybe traveling on the road takes you away from home and you want to be close by your family. And so that's not an option for you. Then you're back to the shiny office scenario. But taking the time to look at all the opportunities that you have and to feel them. And of course, we're going to look at patterns. What does this feel like? What do you see this pattern getting into for you? Does this feel good? Or does it feel like some of that stuck stuff is gonna join you? Okay. Looking at those old patterns, what is it? And old patterns, if there's something that keeps popping up and it just keeps getting in the way of your ability to move forward, then this is something that you really need to look at as an opportunity of something that needs to be healed. We talk about when that sadness comes up, that we need to feel the sadness, find out where it came from and why we're having it so that we can put that feeling to rest. The same thing with the joy. What are the things that bring us joy? Where can we find more of that joy? Bring those up, look at them. So looking at repeating old patterns it's something that's inside that needs healed. We talk about when we attract the people to us that we feel we're trying the most to not live with, not have in our circle. When we keep drawing things to our circle that we don't like, it's because we haven't healed that. It's that unhealed part of us that brings that back to us. It keeps bringing it to us. It keeps popping that mirror in our face of, you need to deal with this. Okay, that's your signs. Um, we talk about it as being a leap of faith. And, it's not necessarily a complete leap as much as it is acknowledging the different parts that are wanting to be listened to and heard. So when you look at it from that perspective, what are you willing to do in your change that's also going to put you at the top of the list? It's not the bubble bath. Because bubble baths, they feel great in the beginning, but then the water gets cold long before the healing is done. So what are you doing in this process of up leveling, of coming into your new opportunities? What are you doing to find the parts of your soul that is asking to up level, to heal? What are the things that you're avoiding in your decision processes? What patterns are they that keep repeating? What grief and betrayal is still in your heart? Because that's where it gets held. It gets held in that heart chakra. We all have grief. We all have betrayal. But are you experiencing grief and betrayal, that grief and or betrayal that is at a point that is stopping you, that is holding you back, that is begging to get some healing, some relief? A lot of times forgiveness does takes care of a lot of that. So then moving, to what's the belief that's blocking your next step? I'm not worthy. I can't do it. People like me don't get jobs like that. People like me don't get things like this. Stop thinking that. If you can think it, you can have it. If you can think it, you can be it. You just have to think it. And I remember not that long ago when people would ask me, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to live? And I would go, oh, I didn't know it was a choice, because I didn't. I just thought this is what you did. Everyone had car payments and mortgages and a job they didn't like. But there's so much more you have to believe that there is. And then you start working toward that. So this gets down to, what truth about yourself are you finally ready to honor? And that's where your excitement begins. And that's where you really start making movement in your life. Feeling that you are seen and that you are heard and that someone can listen to your dream. That's so incredibly important. It's one of the most meaningful pieces this weekend was to hear those audacious goals that people had, the things that they're looking forward to, and then having the opportunity to guide them to where they can leave the old stuck and really start believing in themselves, letting go of all those doubts, that shame and guilt that has held them back for so long, those voices that play from tapes that don't belong there. They don't belong. So being able to see individuals, to see you where you are, to not judge you, not talk over you, to honor the things that you want to do, and then to help you figure out what are the next steps. How do you start filling those steps? How do you start this transformation in your own life? And it starts within your own being first. So the healing process, it takes time, it takes desire, and it takes a will to really, really want to change, to do things differently, to feel things differently, to experience life to its absolute fullest. And as a healer, as a coach, I get to witness this. I get to witness this in other individuals and to celebrate with them. It's it's a privilege. It's absolutely a privilege to be able to do that. And this it's not cookie cutter stuff. It's not the same person is ready for the same step. Yes, people come in groups, and group healings oftentimes have a same theme, but it's not exactly the same for every single person. So a good reading for you means that someone met you where you are. That's how you know you had a good reading. It's like, oh, they get me. And I worked with another healer over the weekend. And actually, I had a couple of readers that I worked with, and using their gifts to see within me where my next steps are, and to help me to go back and to remember the steps, to remember the things that need to take place so that I too can keep moving, keep growing, and have that guidance from them as well. It's awesome. I mean, this weekend was such a win-win for so many people, and oh, it was just awesome. So my method, what I work very diligently to do in a reading is to not tell someone my interpretation of what everything is. I let you know what it is that I see. And then we can discuss it so that you understand what it means for you. Um, I'm not the one living your life. I'm telling you what I'm able to see from an energetic perspective, what your life source energy is telling me, is showing me, what your guides are directing. And then it's entirely up to you as to what you want to do with that space and time. So let's get out the angel cards. The angel cards, I love my angel cards. They continue to be spot on. Today I drew, this is the angel of health. Not sure if you can see her. Oh no. We have frozen, I believe. Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened. Yeah, it must have been good stuff because technology wanted to kick us out. But I drew an angel card, and I'm not sure where we left off. I don't know where I froze. But today is the angel. This is the angel of health. My whole being is healthy and filled with energy of love. The source of true health is our inner divinity. The loving energy nourishes our being, is always available to heal any deviation for forgetfulness that would result in sickness or disease. Visualize now any area in your body or of your life that needs to be healed. See it healing, showered with the healing, transforming light of love. That's what we talked about. We talked about today about we didn't name it health, but the health of your being, the health of your job, the health of your life, the health, the well-being. That is what we were talking about. And so sitting back, this angel talks about sitting back and envisioning any part of your life where it needs some attention, some repair, some alignment. Visualize and see that. And then see it showered in the beautiful light of love. Love coming in and showering you, whatever color that light is. If that's a beautiful sunshine energy light, if it's pink of love, whatever that is. And so let's do a little theta healing today. Let's remove what prevents us from feeling our own energy to heal. Yeah, would you like that? The ability to see ourselves. It's going to be a really big leap to see us as other people see us, because other people see us as much more magnificent individuals than we see ourselves. And it's important to remember that we are our worst own enemy. So maybe we're going to remove the obligation to always put ourselves down, remove that obligation to keep ourselves last and to not respect ourselves for the magnificent beings that we are. If you'd like that work, just say yes out loud. If you're catching us in the repeat, put hashtag replay and yes. Just say that yes out loud in order to receive the work. Oh, technology gremlins are not getting us today. We're going to continue this. So wherever you are in a crossroads of your life, carrying too much or trying to understand what your next leap of faith is or where your alignment is, this is the kind of work that I love to be able to support you in, to holding space, not judging. We all have those great, big, audacious goals. And it's important that we get there. And for those of you who are waking up in your journey and realizing that you have choices, I welcome you to check out any information that you would like to get in contact with me, see how this might help you. You can contact me through amandabethhealing.com /Linktree will get you to all the socials and all the different platforms that I'm on, or amandabethhealing.com is my website, and I'd be happy to connect with you from there. Schedule a discovery call and see if that is what is next on your list to help you become aligned and to no longer feel stuck. What is that next step in your path? I'm Amanda Beth with Amanda Beth Healing. I am here every Tuesday, 11:30 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, anywhere else that we can shout out and be live, also on LinkedIn as well. Um, be watching in 2 days on the July 16th. I am going to be interviewing for New York Executive Radio. We're going to be talking about the float pod because, yes, I still own the Iowa Salt Pod, and I feel that is an amazing resource for individuals to continue with your health and wellness. Tonight on the Chronic Health Collective, Jessica has a guest that is just going to, um, yeah, I have had the opportunity to be in the background on these upcoming podcasts. We've got some really good information. This one is all about relationships and getting reconnected and how to fuel the fire and take those next steps in your relationships. Don't miss Jessica Hammock tonight with her guests and just really, yeah, it's going to be awesome. It'll be on E360 TV at 7 p.m., as well as YouTube, Facebook, all the platforms that the Chronic Health Collective is on 7 p.m. every Tuesday night. And you can go back and watch the replays on YouTube or E360 TV. So, shout out, thanks to everyone who joined me today. I really appreciate having you here. If anyone wants to join me here in the studio and we'll chat about life and how things are going, be happy to have you. Just connect with me. Till next week, keep believing and work towards those good things. As you believe in the good things keep coming.